Welcome to SVG TV News for Wednesday, 5th September 2018. I'm Yvette Bowens with the details. The churches are being encouraged to take the lead in a national conversation on same-sex relationships here. This appeal came from Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves at a news conference on Monday as he answered a question relating to the alleged public assault of a gay man over the weekend by members of the public. PM Gonsalves said there are many individuals who live a lifestyle contrary to the tradition here, and the church-led conversation must be started in order to help build a stable society. He said such a discussion will create an opportunity for persons to air their various opinions on the matter.
To feel that it is wrong, but you shouldn't criminalize it. And there's some who feel that it isn't wrong at all. Let everybody have their say, but not by the government or any political party leading the discussion. We're a small society. Am I wrong, Dale and colleagues from the press who are here, to say that there is a sense that a number of persons, more than certainly, I believe when I was a young man, are engaged in this particular lifestyle? And I'm not advocating it, but as a leader, as a political leader, I acknowledge all the dimensions.
PM Gonsalves said the political arena is not the best place for the discussions to begin.
We have to talk about these things. And the politicians are the wrong people to talk about them, because as soon as you get there, people begin to play into one prejudice or another and begin to accuse people and of this or that position. Once somebody tried from the NDP side, said that they would have wanted the NDP to start the conversation, and they made the thing of trying to drag me into it and so on and so on. So I said, I don't know why anybody want to drag me into this, you know. And I feel at the civil society, including the churches, I believe that the better entities to have that conversation. At least I genuinely feel so.
President of the Human Rights Association, Samantha Robinson, is advocating that laws be changed to deal with the rights of people for the 21st century. The practicing attorney said that she was appalled over a recent incident where a gay individual was publicly attacked. While condemning the actions, Robertson said that more has to be done if the fundamental human rights of persons are to be addressed.
If we're preaching tolerance, and if we're moving forward, and if we want to accept the LGBT community, then we have to take certain laws off the books. And I think it is, like I say, and I keep preaching it, it is a conversation that needs to be had. We're in the 21st century. You know, it's not going to go away. So we have to educate ourselves, we have to educate our communities, and we have to educate the society on a whole.
Robertson said that while gays and lesbians are exercising their rights as human beings, there has to be more tolerance from the general public. She also said that, like other situations, people's relationship preferences and persuasions differ and have changed over time.
I see that we are more tolerant if a woman was supposed to put on male attire and do the same thing as opposed to if it was the opposite sex. But they would not have been committing an offense. There's no offense about dressing like a man or a man dressing like a woman. Where's the offense? The offense with homosexuals is the act of buggery. And that's the only offense. There's no offense if somebody decide to choose a particular persuasion.
At a news conference on Monday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves condemned the attack and said the police were investigating the incident. There is still no final word as yet in relation to a quantity of cocaine that went missing from the police evidence room. Acting Commissioner of Police Colin John said at a news conference on Monday that investigations are continuing into the matter. The issue became public during a court hearing on December 2017. The missing parcel of cocaine was part of a quantity of 9,159 grams that Petty Officer Lennox Williams of the SVG Coast Guard retrieved by making 4 dives into 130 feet of water during a police and Coast Guard operation off West Key Beckway on July 3, 2014. Since then, polygraph tests were administered to members of the Narcotics Unit Conference. John said there is insufficient evidence to charge anyone in connection with the missing cocaine.
Matter, we have investigated the matter. We have discussed the issue with the Office of the DPP. Based on the opinion of the Office of the DPP, there was insufficient evidence to charge anyone for that offense.
With schools now back in session, the question of the weight of students' backpacks is again being raised, and parents are being urged to ensure that the load their children take to school is not too heavy. This advice has come from chiropractor Dr. Edmund Seeley, who spoke with SVG TV News, during which he pointed to the effects which the heavy book bags have on children's health. SVG TV's Barvin Oliver has more.
Hundreds of children began the new academic school year on Monday at various institutions around the country, carrying with them the supplies necessary for learning. However, each year there are discussions among members of the public as to whether children are carrying too many books to school and the possible impact the loaded bags have on their health. Dr. Seeley said heavy loads can lead to the development of scoliosis in children.
Yeah, well, when you're carrying a heavy weight on one side, when you walk, if you have it on your left shoulder and your left leg will land harder on the pavement, and this will displace the left sacroiliac joint, and then the whole spine will curve. And the final compensation for that curve will be up in the first vertebral atlas, which controls blood supply to the brain. So they'll have impairment of blood flow to the brain in and out, you know. So it's not a good thing at all. It's not healthy, you know, and that shouldn't be encouraged at all.
Dr. Seeley explained that scoliosis can create a host of other health problems in children.
All of them are developing what is called scoliosis, right? Lateral curvature of the spine, because when you have one heavy book bag on one shoulder and that shoulder dips, the whole spine curves to compensate. And where we have a curve, and the nerves coming out of those curves that go to the organs that are controlled by the brain, these organs start malfunctioning. So they will develop serious problems later on if they continue with it. Because the more they carry these books, the more the spine will twist and the more they will have problems, you know. So this should not be carried.
The chiropractor recommended the use of book bags which have 2 straps and for parents to monitor the weight of their children's bags. He warned that prevention is better than cure.
Maybe the answer is to get a book bag they carry on the back and with 2 straps, you know. But again, even for young children, that kind of weight walking around, you know, it puts pressure on the spine. Before 15, the joints, the end of the joints, you know, are so soft, you know, that they can go any direction. After 15, they harden, the epiphyses, the ends of the bones harden, and then they stabilize. But when you're under 15, you know, any little movement of the joints, you know, will cause compression in the disc and cause problems, you know. So a lot of children complain of problems with their stomach, problems with their lungs, problems with breathing, and they get medicine, but the medicine can't correct it because it's coming from the spine, you know. Unless you correct the spine, these things will never get better, you know.
For SVG TV Evening News, I am Barvin Oliver.
The Adult and Continuing Education Unit in SVG is sending out a call for persons, especially those who are unemployed, to make use of their programs that will help steer them towards a career path. And as the unit observes September as Adult and Continuing Education Month, it has restructured its program to meet the needs of clients. The Adult and Continued Education Unit will be hosting a number of public education and sensitization activities during the month. Director Kathleen Jeffers tells SVG-TV News that the additional programs being introduced would help individuals to better deal with social issues.
One of the things also that some services we want to offer, counseling, both behavioral and career counseling for them, psychosocial support, because some persons have difficulties and they need that sort of support, so we collaborate with other ministries, organizations and agencies to fulfill that mandate, and also crisis management and response. So if there is a crisis or anything should happen, we're able to have our team to respond until other help comes.
In addition, food preparation and technical skills have been remodeled to keep abreast with technology and international standards.
To do things like with the technical, the carpentry, the joinery, technical drawing, that would be one course going through for the year. Then we have food preparation and preservation. So we're going to do things like wine making, fruit processing, cake baking and decoration in that light. We also have computer repairs, small engine repairs. We have pottery. That's in the craft, under the craft section. We have tie-dyeing and we have screen printing.
The Adult and Continuing Education Unit currently offers programs in basic literacy and numeracy, as well as at the CCSLC and CSEC levels. Jeffers said they hope to have these and the new programs run throughout the day and not only in the morning and evenings.
We intend at this moment is to have more day program where persons who are unemployed, because our real mandate is to look after those who are unemployed. So during the day, rather than the centers, because we are also responsible for the learning centers. So rather than have those centers unoccupied during the day and other persons are using them, we have to now implement programs that are going to meet the needs of the communities.
The adult and continuing education programs are free and has graduated thousands of students over the years. The activities organized as part of Adult and Continuing Education Month are being held under the theme, Passion for Knowledge, Motivation for Continuous Learning. Vincentians will be given the opportunity to use the power of prayer to create the changes they want to see in society. This as the Enough is Enough support group, in collaboration with NBC Radio, hosts a candlelight vigil this Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. The vigil comes one day ahead of the observance of World Suicide Prevention Day, which is recognized globally on Monday, 10th September, to draw public attention to this issue. Coordinator of Enough is Enough, Javel Frank, said the support group was created to educate and sensitize the public on the various social ills of society, and given the recent spate of killings, the vigil is intended to create an opportunity to intercede on behalf of the nation through prayer.
The purpose of this nationwide candlelight vigil is to bridge the divides on the social landscape across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and is also an opportunity to bring families together and as well as a nation to seek God's face for the forgiveness of our sins and the healing of our land. It's our response to the call for intercessory prayers for our nation. I mean, with the recent spate of murders and violent crimes across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have heard our people have been crying out and calling on the church to pray and pray more. I mean, as a non-governmental organization, we ourselves can do our part in interceding on behalf of our country through prayer.
Frank said she believes that every organization has a role to play in reducing social ills, including crime and incidents which lead to suicide.
So often we find ourselves blaming the system or blaming someone for the reasons as to why people will go and do these things and hurt themselves and hurt their families. We strongly believe as a support group that we all should take the responsibility of being a key player in the prevention strategies of any crime at all in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As a matter of fact, I strongly believe that charity begins at home. And I mean, once we're able to understand our role in terms of our relations as parents to children and letting them know about these things and having more dialogue about these things, we can be a part of the whole prevention of any sort of crime at all in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Meanwhile, Abigail Haynes, the program assistant at NBC Radio, said the vigil will give Vincentians a sense of hope through prayer.
September 9th, we will have a prayer session and we'll have a number of leaders in our Christian society who will be a part of that panel, and we will have this prayer session from 6 to 8 p.m. where we'll offer prayers for the nation, and we're also involving the public as well to light a candle. You know, sometimes churches, depending on the church as well, they have their evening service. So we're asking that persons collaborate with us at their churches to light a candle and offer prayers for various crimes and persons who are suffering with these different ailments as well in our society. So we'll be having this session from 6 to 8 here on NBC. So the lines will be opened as well for persons to offer prayer for the nation and so forth. And we really encourage persons to come on board and to give a prayer for our nation. We all have to live here.